Welcome, Feranmi, to In My Bag series. We're very excited to have you. So, Feranmi is the product marketing manager at Cowrywise. I'm sure everybody knows what Cowrywise is. But I'll just let Feranmi introduce himself and then we'll kick off proper.
Okay, so my name is Feranmi. I love to cook, and on the side, I'm a product marketer. Actually, on the side, I love to cook for my employers as well.
Just for that, I'm coming there.
I love to cook, and I'm a product marketer, particularly with strengths in storytelling and community building.
Yeah. Thank you, Feranmi. Thank you so much. So we're just going to start off. First of all, what was the motivation behind wanting to be a doctor, deciding not to be a doctor, studying economics, and landing in marketing before we come to food?
So I think growing up, all of us read Gifted Hands, and somehow we all imagined that we're going to be doctors after reading Gifted Hands. But particularly when I was in primary school, I read the story of some Israeli guy who was a cardiologist, and the quote on his door was that beyond this door, there's life, and that really inspired me. I think I was in primary 3 or primary 4 then when I saw that quote. I was like, I don't say it like that. I actually wanted to become a cardiologist while growing up. However, I tried and I didn't get in. I think it's good I didn't get in because I got in, probably people would have been dying, some saving their lives. So I'm happy that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so I tried. Then I started to get into business, and business started to make sense for me. I took economics because I wanted to understand how businesses work, how economic systems work actually. So while in economics, I'd always, right from primary school, I had a background in writing because I took creative writing classes in primary school. I always had a background in writing. So I got very interested in behavioral economics. And for anybody who knows behavioral economics, basically understanding how people make decisions, how you can help them make better decisions. And that involves a lot of marketing, whether you like it or not. So that was the beginning of my journey into proper marketing. So I started to apply behavioral economic principles in my writing and how I market. So when I'm actually marketing, I'm just basically taking up lessons from my behavioral economics classes. By the way, I never had behavioral economics classes per se in university. I just read about them. That was what I really liked. So that was how I landed in marketing. And it only makes sense that I started off with finance, given that economics exposed me to a lot of financial knowledge, and I could write. So most brands still have issues communicating financial subjects to everyday people. So because I understood economics, I was good at creative writing. It was easy for me to blend both together and start writing relatable stuff for people around the world, not just Nigeria. So yeah, that's how I found myself in marketing.
Oh, you used to write for Stairs. Do you still do that?
So I was not like writing for Stairs. Basically, Stairs used to take up guest articles at the beginning. It was a good marketing strategy. So say Feranmi from Cowrywise write for Stairs. Stairs article will get exposed to Feranmi's audience, say Abdurrahman from Paystack writes for Stairs. So the entire idea was simply around exposing Stairs to the audiences of guest writers. So I was just a guest writer for one article. I spoke about wealth tax, and that was it.
Oh, that's actually interesting. Moving from wanting to be a doctor, I think all of us really read that Gifted Hands, and then landing in marketing. Everybody knows Feranmi from Cowrywise, but you started off at Cowrywise as a social media handler. And now you're a product marketing manager. How has that been? Like, what has that career progression been like for you?
Very interesting, because even though I was a social media handler then, I still had my hands in growth, trying to understand how to grow the brand. So I remember that one of my first campaigns was at OAU, where I grew the chicken myself. So it was like a mini carnival for students who wanted to open up Cowrywise account. So even at that stage, though my core was social media management, I was very focused on handling the bulk of other things on behalf of Cowrywise that were growth related. So I've actually been in the product and growth space ever since the beginning. So it was a natural progression. As the team grew, we hired more people. Somebody had to handle social media, take it off me. Somebody had to handle content marketing, take it off me. Then I just moved on from there. from brand storyteller down to product marketer with a focus on product growth.
I see the way that Cowrywise tells stories on social media. I enjoy reading some of the blog posts. So how have you been able to, I know, and you mentioned that you enjoy storytelling. How do you kind of inculcate that in all the campaigns that you run? I know that basically running a campaign is basically storytelling, but how do you weave that into all the campaigns seamlessly?
Okay. So just to be clear about that, before we went on for a proper brand structure. By the way, every firm should have a brand guide. Brand guide determines your tone, how you want to sound, how you want to look, how you want people to perceive you. If you have to describe you as a person, how they describe you. All those are answered in brand guidelines. So for the brand guideline, we had our own internal guideline to sound very relatable to everybody, to anybody that wanted to. So if you are listening to Cowrywise, those way you wanted to sound. And that was now encapsulated in a brand guideline in a point in our brand guideline that says that Cowrywise is the big brother or big sister. So whenever Cowrywise is coming out there with a tone or a campaign, it's more like your big brother is talking to you, your big sister is talking to you. You get it. So that advisory tone, but in a very relatable manner, that's how Cowrywise works around.
I can tell from the way that Outlet drags me every Friday. It's from one drag to the other, and I'm just always so upset. Sometimes I'm just you see, today I'm not even listening to you. Let's pretend I didn't get this push notification that is sent out.
You know the funniest thing? The way everybody feels about the same thing, as weird as it might sound, even those of us who work at Cowrywise, we feel the same way. We get this notification and we're like, oh God. So it's not it's just an external thing. People in Cowrywise also feel the same way. So it's not a one-off, not just an external thing. So I can tell you that, Okwe is dragging everybody, and everybody tries to listen sometimes.
If I see up on the road and we identify up there, lots of people will beat up there. I'm very sensitive about that. Anyways, moving away from marketing. Let's move away from marketing. I'm trying as much as possible not to ask a lot of marketing questions.
That's fine.
But let's move out from marketing for a bit. Let's talk about knee fries. If you've not eaten knee fries, see, I'm very picky with burgers, and for me, I tried knee fries because I had been seeing a lot of posts on Twitter, everybody raving about knee fries, and then you said you were coming to Abuja, and I was like, see me, I will not even miss it. And so I ordered, I think the day before I traveled, and I had it, and it was really, really good. Doctor Economics, product marketing manager, and then you decide to branch into food. Why food? And specifically, why burgers? Specifically, why burgers? I'm really interested in knowing.
Okay, so for food, I've always liked the idea of fusions, where you pick up something from one culture and you blend it with another culture, just a random thing. Just the same way I tell stories, I like to pick up bits of different ideas and form it into a story. That's what I always do. So for burgers in school, we had this random things of putting suya in your egg. Sometimes we used to buy just ordinary suya, put it in bread, and the bread has to be soft, use it like that. So during the lockdown, I was cooking a lot, and I started to think about what I could do. So I wanted suya and bread, but I didn't like the idea of the suya being dry in the bread. So I thought of adding vegetables to it, but the vegetables were still going to be dry. And that brought the idea of adding some cream, some special ketchup mix, and some extra spices. So that way, it will lubricate the suya and the bread so that it's easy for everybody to swallow. That was the entire idea. But when I even started, someone said, "Oh, some other guys are doing something like this." Some are like, "Oh, yeah, cool. The market is big for everybody. We'll be fine at the end of the day." So yeah.
So, but how did you think about? I know we all did that. What you mentioned about eating bread and suya in uni, I think that was survival skills for a lot of people. Myself particularly. So that was really, and I still do it till now. I still do bread and suya. So till now, and I find, do you find that people confuse knee fries, burgers, and say, "Oh, it's a sort of like shawarma"? Because I had that shawarma feeling when I had knee fries burger.
Okay, so I was saying, so they're all sandwiches in their own right. However, the difference is that one has a wrap, one is the bread. Yeah, we get that. We get that talk a lot. That this tastes like shawarma, but of course, it's more filling than shawarma because of the bread and it doesn't have a wrap. Shawarmas have, of course, more internal filling, but bread has like more of the bun than the wrap. So yeah, so we get that. We get that a lot.
I because I love shawarma, so that was like the feel I got, and then it was such a great burger, by the way.
Thank you.
So how have you been able to like? Do you think that your experiences studying economics, being a product marketing manager, and running a business, like there has been like interwoven skills that you've gathered that has helped you like across all the many hats that you wear? And what are some of those skills?
Okay, definitely. So for example, when I wanted to launch the Sia burger, instead of going the random route of we've launched Sia burger and everything during the lockdown, I had it in mind already. I was going to do something different for Life Right. So I started to cook every day, post videos online. That I learned that from basically marketing products. They have to be like some sort of anticipation. So people were asking, want to be part of it. So we just created an exclusive list, delivered meals to people across Lagos, different meals across Lagos. And they were like, man, this is nice. This is really good and stuff like that. So people we speak were nano influencers, and people wanted to like feel what they felt. So we built up a wait list to say we are launching the actual burger on so that if you want to order, just put your email address and pay a flat rate. We made everybody pay a flat rate of I think 1,000 or 2,000, I can't remember, but it was just a flat rate, anything in order. So that way, we first of all built anticipation. We made it exclusive to a certain number of people, so people are anticipating to be part of the idea. They wanted to be part of the product. They wanted to be part of the experience. That was it. Then we also launched with an easy barrier, like just pay a flat rate, experience it first of all. Then after you experience it, you can now go on to the guests. That was it.
Yeah.
So is my video
is off now.
Okay, sorry, back now.
Yeah. So what particular skills did you? So I get marketing skills. What economic skills do you find help for your business?
Like presenting our prices, working against inflation and everything like that. So that has helped me a lot. Models, basically pricing models.
Okay. I have one particular question that I thought about this afternoon. What has been your biggest failure, and why did you keep going in spite of that?
I've had plenty failures. plenty failures, because sometimes it looks like there are campaigns. So I have a very good habit of keeping record of my past glory, like past work. But you have to be very careful also, so that you don't get like waste your hours and everything. Whenever I fail, maybe in the future or something, I just go back and I read those things and I see that I can go back to like old tweets, old campaigns and very old things, and it gives me motivation. So the one particular campaign that I had an issue with was, we sent out an email, I approved that email, and the email was too triggering, like it was too triggering for the entire recipient, and our open rates dropped over 100 times. Like it dropped so much. Wow. So imagine if you were say at a 50% open rate and you drop down to like 8% open rates, because people are triggered by. So I felt really bad, but I just want to understand that we built it to this level, so we can build it again. We just need to end first and do some other things. And that worked actually. So that's one of the many mistakes. You always make a lot of mistakes when it comes to marketing. But here's what I always like to say. There's not really any mistake when it comes to marketing, particularly in the database. What you're just saying is the truth. So from the truth, you pick up the truth and say, how do we scale this truth? How do we tweak this truth? Lessons from this truth. So I will do next time. Do you understand? So no losses at the end of the day.
I particularly like to ask about failures because I mean, you've had failures and then you kept on going and you're here. Like, how, in spite of the fact that, oh, you failed at something, but you're here now. Understand? So what has been that progression? And I like the idea of like gratitude list. I'm guessing that's what everyone calls it now. Keeping gratitude lists in such a way that when the time are tough, you go and pick it up.
Yes.
I'm father, so and then I don't forget. Don't forget that.
Exactly. You need to keep reminding yourself.
Yeah. So have you ever considered changing careers? So if you're not doing marketing, what else would Feranmi be doing? And if you're not doing food too, what else would Feranmi
Basically, it would be more around research, writing papers. I like research a lot. I like writing papers. When I was in my second year, I wrote a paper on closed economies, like one of my best papers I've ever written, comparing why the Chinese model might never work in Nigeria. And I still like to go back to that paper. So yeah, writing papers basically, writing economic papers. All that I've been doing.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't look like a big guy.
So, what advice would you give to anyone wanting to come into the marketing space?
You need to know how to measure. Like, it's beyond running a viral campaign, running XYZ, running this, running that. It's more about, do you know exactly what you need to measure? Do you know exactly what you need to actually get out of whatever it is that you're doing here? You understand my point? So people come into this space, they don't exactly know what they want to measure. They don't know how to measure. They don't know. They just measure a lot of things. So they're running one campaign and they have like 25 goals. If you do not have the ability to measure and know what to measure, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. You will not get things done and you will not be able to make intelligent reports that show progress with your impact of marketing. So it's one thing for you to be creative, it's one thing for you to have ideas, another thing for you to know exactly how to measure and what you need to measure.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think one of my colleagues, she was writing a paper and it was on like even with measurement, digital measurement, how easy and how visible, and even if it is visible, how important do people take this data, or basically the data. Is it easy to measure digital campaigns? So you have the typical goals that they put as typical goals that you have to measure, but is that really all encompassing of what you should like? How all encompassing is even the metrics that we have to measure like digital campaigns? How do you think that it's very all encompassing?
Of course it is. So the simple question that every product marketer or good marketer wants to answer is, how exactly are we growing? Where is our traffic coming from? And what channels are performing the best? One very simple way that people do it is something called as UTM links. So UTM links are simply trackers that you have to say maybe your sign-up link on Twitter, your sign-up link on Instagram and LinkedIn. With a UTM parameter, you can say this click came from our Twitter sign-up link, this came from our Instagram sign-up link, this came from our LinkedIn sign-up link. So the easiest way to measure exactly whatever you are doing in any digital campaign is to have UTM parameters. I cannot speak so much about it because I need to make it very practical, but anybody can Google it up. It's called the UTM parameters. So it tells you the source, the medium, and the name of the campaign, as long as you can. So that way, for example, in Google Analytics, to pick up exactly those source, medium, and tell you exactly where traffic is coming from for you. So that's one thing that I know. But one of the hardest things to measure in a digital campaign is something called the word of mouth coefficient. Campaigns driving the word of mouth. How well are they? Now, it is a very complex process. It's not as simple as using Google Analytics and everything. It's a complex analysis. Sometimes you might end up using what economists call econometrics to do the analysis. So it's something I'm also still learning myself.
Most people that know you as Feranmi in Cowrywise, from Cowrywise, basically. First is, how do you feel about that? Only is, do you think that, especially in that important that, or rather, do you think it's dangerous? How dangerous do you think it is, or how important do you think it is for it to be that one person is known for I think that your personality rubs off into you, the Feranmi from Cowrywise?
So, there's no one answer to this. However, the answer is that the world as it is today is focused on platform branding. Platform branding is, I work at X firm, and you work at, say, Y firm. I want to know what exactly you're doing around X firm, and I want to love you for what you're doing. So what brands are basically doing today is to push out their best hands so that they serve as marketing channels for the brand. So you're around the downside might be when you leave, the entire vibe of, oh, this was this guy, Feranmi from Cowrywise or anything like that, it might be taken away. But you're very good at what you do, and you go to another place, you own that particular brand, own that space again. It picks up again. That's the truth. It just keeps picking up. Everything keeps picking up. It just keeps picking up. So, in my own opinion, what I always suggest is that try as much as possible not to go. You are working in the food industry. Next 2 months, you're working in the finance industry. Another 2 months, you're working in house. So, not as if they are bad things inherently, but they have a way of tarnishing a personal brand. You understand? So if you're in the finance space and you're moving down the finance space, for instance, even if you do that for like say 3 years or 2 years, it gives you a stamping. People respect you. You move to another one. If you do that, people respect you then. So it's not a bad thing, because here's what happens: if you ride on a brand's importance, the brand grows, and as the brand grows, it's just synonymous. Your own personality too starts to grow. You start to earn traction from the brand that you contributed your persona to build. So the two-way thing.
The two-way, yeah.
And also the brand stands the risk of losing you, because when you become so popular, everybody wants to hire you and everything like that. So so the two-way, from the gains to the risk, is a two-way thing actually.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm asking because I'm certain that a lot of people have that question to ask you.
Definitely.
Yeah, because now there's always, I think that because we've seen that trend a lot in the marketing, like, I don't even know whether to say in the influencer world, from brands using, like, pushing someone from their team to say, you go and be the face of the brand. A lot of brands have started to adopt.
Yeah, every brand needs an evangelist, actually. Evangelists do two things for brands. First, they make it easier to market from the personal point of view. Secondly, when it's time to hire talent, it's very easy because people already, imagine when people are applying because this guy works very well at this company and he does well and he's really good about it. I want to work with him, or I just like the way the company treats my people join the company. So it helps in two ways also for the brands.
Okay. Thank you so much, Feranmi. Thank you so much.
Thank you
I'm never going to ask you where you going to from marketing, because I don't know how most people are definitely going to say, you know, when people associate you with one thing, do you think that you're like go from there? Do you think you're going to leave marketing to another sector? Do you think, or you're just
everything I'm going to do? I'm not going to keep evolving in marketing. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Thank you so much, Feranmi, for joining the In My Bag series. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are wanting to come into the marketing sector, and even some brands. See, I'm going to even listen to this again.
Because thanks for actually having me.
Thank you so much. And enjoy your day, and thank you everybody for watching to this point. You guys are really cute for watching to this point. Bye.